So we have to solve by graphing. You'll have one on the quiz that looks just like this, where it gives you the graph and you have to give me the solution. So what would the solution be for number 2?
Two and 3.
So it's this point. So what's x equal to? Is x2 or is x3? You said our point was 2, 3. So what's x equal to and what's y equal to?
Two.
So x is 2, and what's y?
3.
3. Perfect. So just make sure you know which one is x and which one is y. Alright, for the next ones, we have to solve by substitution. So for number 4, remember for substitution, we want to get one variable all by itself. So we either want it to be y is equal to or x is equal to, and then it's going to be some type of equation here. But we just want to get that x or y all by itself. So the second equation has like a 3x and a negative 6y, so those have something attached to it, so we want to focus on this equation. How can we get it to either be x equals or y equals? What can we do? So our first equation, we either want it to be x equals or y equals. So what can we do? So how can we rearrange this equation to be x equals? We need to move the minus y and the minus 2 to the other side. So how can we do that?
Add 2.
Add 2. So we have 2 is equal to x minus y. What do we have to do next?
Add y.
Add y. So x is equal to 2 plus y. What do we do with this? We take what x is equal to and substitute it in for x. So x is equal to 2 plus y. We're going to plug that in for x. So 3 times 2 plus y, so we're just replacing the x, minus 24 is equal to negative 6y. Now we need to solve for y. So what do we do?
Distribute the 3.
Awesome, we distribute the 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times y would be 3y. Minus 24 is equal to negative 6y. What can we do next?
Combine 3y and negative 6y.
Perfect. So we can subtract 3y on both sides, so it'll cancel out there. What is negative 6y minus 3y?
Is it negative 5?
So we're just adding them, so it'd be negative 9y. And then here we have 6 minus 24. What's 6 minus 24? Negative 18. Now to solve for y, we divide both sides by negative 9. So what do we get for y? Y is equal to what?
2.
Y is equal to 2. So now that we have an answer for y, are we done? Nope. So what do
No.
we do next?
Plug it into one of the other problems.
Perfect. We can either plug it into the first one or the second one. It doesn't matter, but we need to plug it into y. As long as we plug it into y, we're good. So we take y is equal to 2, and let's plug it into the first one because that looks a little bit easier. So we have 0 is equal to x minus 2 minus 2. Can we combine like terms? We're trying to solve for x, so how can we get x is equal to something? What's our last step we need to do here?
Add 4 on both sides.
Perfect. Add 4 on both sides. So 4 is equal to x. So we have x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2. On the quiz, in the little text box, you would put x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. Make sure you tell me which one is which, or you'll get it marked wrong, because then I won't know which one you're talking about. So x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. Any questions on this one? Ready to move on? All right, let's look at 6. So we want it to be x is equal to, or y is equal to something. So how can we get our x or y to be all by itself? What do we need to do?
Subtract 8 to negative 3.
Sure. Let's subtract 8. So there's more than one way you can do all of these equations. So what you may not have done the same way. You may have done something different, but there is only one correct answer. So if you didn't subtract 8 and you did something else, totally fine. Just make sure you pay attention, see if you got the right answer. So we got x is equal to negative 4y minus 8. What do we do with this?
Plug it into the next problem.
Perfect. We take it and plug it in for x. So we have 1 is equal to negative 4y minus 8 plus y. What do we do now?
Combine terms.
Combine like terms. So we can add the 8 to the other side. So this would become 9 is equal to, and then how would we combine negative 4y plus y?
Subtract the y.
So what would we get?
Negative 5y.
So remember, if they're on the same side, we just combine them. So this is negative 4 plus 1. Since they're on the same side, we don't change any signs to move it over. They're on the same side of the equation, so it would be negative 4 plus 1, which would be negative 3y. Now what do we do?
Divide by 3.
Divide by negative 3. So it's 9 divided by negative 3.
Negative 3.
Perfect. Negative 3 is equal to y. Are we done?
You put it in the box.
Well, we need to find what x is, right? So can we plug it into the first equation or second equation?
Backwards.
Sure, let's plug it into the second. The second one looks easier. As long as we plug it in for y. We just got to be careful that we plug it in for y. So we have 1 is equal to x minus 3. Since y is negative 3, we just substitute that in for y. How do we solve this equation for x?
Add 3 to both sides.
Add 3 to both sides. So 4 is equal to x. On the quiz, you would put x is equal to 4 and y is equal to negative 3. So just make sure you're specific on which one is which. Alright, let's go to the next page. So let's look at number 8. Here we are solving by elimination. So elimination, we just combine our two equations together. But we need to make sure that we have opposite terms. So if we have a plus y, we need a minus y before we can combine them. So can we combine our equations here? Yeah. So since we have opposite terms with our y's here, we can just combine them. So it's 2x plus 2x. 4x. What happens to our y's? They cancel. And then what's 1 plus 3? 4. Then what do we need to do to solve for x? How do we get rid of it?
Divide 4 on both sides.
Divide 4 on both sides. So x is equal to what? What's 4 divided by 4? 1.
1.
So x is equal to 1. How do we find y? What do we need to do?
Plug it into one of the equations.
Plug it in. Let's plug it into the first one. So we have 2 times 1 plus y is equal to 1. First we need to multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. So 2 plus y is equal to 1. What do we do to solve for y?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2. So y is equal to negative 1. So in the little box on the quiz, you would type in x is equal to 1, y is equal to negative 1. Any questions? All right. Let's look at 11. Can we combine these two equations right off the bat, or is there something we need to do first? Do we have opposite terms? No. So it has to be the same number, and we're trying to cancel out either the x's or the y's. Well, is 8 and 2 the same number? No. But 5 and 5 are. We just need one of the 5's to be negative if the other one's positive. So how can we get this to be negative? Awesome. We need to multiply it by negative 1. But if we multiply one thing in the equation by negative 1, we have to multiply everything in the equation by negative 1. So this is negative 8x minus 5y is equal to negative 10. So we just multiplied everything by negative 1. Now we can take these two equations and combine them. So once we have our opposite terms here, we can combine our equations. So what is 2x minus 8x? What is 2x minus 8x?
Negative 6x.
Perfect, negative 6x. What happens to 5y minus 5y?
Cancel.
Cancels. And then negative 20 minus 10.
Negative 30.
Negative 30. What do we do next? Divide by negative 6. So x is equal to what? 5. Now we need to take this x and plug it back in. So we can plug it into either our first equation or second equation. Let's plug it into our second one. So we plug it in for x. So we have 2 times 5 plus 5y is equal to negative 20. What do we need to do first to solve? Multiply. So 10 plus 5y is equal to negative 20. What's next?
Combine the 10 and negative 20.
So we subtract 10 on both sides. So 5y is equal to negative 30. What do we do next?
Divide.
Divide by 5. So what's y equal to?
6.
Negative 6. Perfect. So we got our x is equal to 5, y is equal to negative 6. Any questions? Any questions on elimination? All right, let's go to the last page. I want to take a look at number 9 from the solving by elimination questions. So remember, we need opposite terms. So if we have a negative y and a negative y, what can we do to one of them to get a positive and a negative?
Multiply by a negative 1.
Multiply everything by a negative 1. So I'm just multiplying the top equation. I'm going to rewrite it down here. That means we have negative 2x plus y is equal to, what's negative 4 times negative 1? Positive 4. So now I'm just combining these two equations, because that one in pink is my new first equation, because I multiplied it by negative 1. Now I can combine the terms. So what's 2x minus 2x? 0. What happens to our y's?
They cancel.
They cancel. And then what is negative 3 plus 4? 1. Is 0 equal to 1?
No.
No. So what would our answer here be?
No solution.
No solution. So here we are graphing. For our first equation, what is our y-intercept? Negative 1. So we put a dot at negative 1. What's our slope? Negative 4 over 3. So we have our rise and our run. If our rise is negative, are we going up or down? So we go down 4 and to the right 3.
So negative, like in the middle, is it negative 3 and negative 4?
No, if the negative was in the middle, like it is here, it's only one of them is negative. So I just like to move it to the top. That way I know that we're going down.
Okay, but would it matter if you put like the negative at the 3?
It doesn't matter. So negative 4 over 3 is the same thing as negative 4 over 3, and it's the same thing as 4 over negative 3.
So the slope is a positive 4 Or if the rise is a positive 4 and the run is a negative 3, which should count as correct.
Yeah, but if like the run was negative, you would just have to go to the left.
Yeah.
But these are all the same thing.
Okay.
Do we connect these 2 points with a solid line or dotted line? Dotted. A dotted line because it's just greater than. Now we need to figure out where we're going to shade. So what can we plug in? 0, 0. So 0 is greater than negative 1. Is this true?
Yeah.
Yes. So where are we going to shade?
On the right.
Perfect. So since 0, 0 is here, we shade where 0, 0 is. So we're shading on the right side here. Alright, moving on to the next equation. What's our y-intercept?
Negative 2.
-2. So we're going to put a point at -2. What's our slope?
Negative 4 over 3.
-4 over 3. So our rise is -4 and our run is 3. That means we go down 4 and to the right 3. We could also go up 4 and to the left 3. So that would be our second point. So are we connecting these two dots with a solid line or dotted line? Solid. What do we need to plug in to test where we shade? 0, 0. So 0 is less than or equal to -2. Is this true? No. So we're going to shade above or below? Below. Do we have any parts that overlap here? So what would our answer be? No solution. So if nothing overlaps, it's no solution.
Ms. Carver, how do you know when to put a solid or a dotted line?
You always look at the inequality. So if it is greater than or less than, without that equal to, it's dotted. So let me draw it up here for you. If we just have less than or greater than, it's a dotted line. If it is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, it's solid. So if that equal to is there, that means it's a solid line.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's look at 15. For our first equation, what's our y-intercept? Okay, so -2, so we put a point at -2. What's our slope?
-1/2.
-1/2. So that means we go down 1 to the right 2. Is this a solid line or dotted line?
Dotted.
Dotted. So we connect our 2 points with a dotted line. And now we need to test where we shade, so what do we plug in?
0, 0.
0, 0. So 0 is greater than -2. Is this true? Yes. So where are we shading? On the right side, so up here. Okay, next. What's our y-intercept?
1.
1. So we put a point at 1. What's our slope?
1/1.
1/1. So we go up 1, over 1. Do we connect these 2 points with a solid line or dotted line? Dotted.
Dotted.
Now we need to test where we shade. So what can we plug in?
0 and 0, 0.
So is 0 greater than 1?
No.
No. So where are we going to shade?
Below.
If 0, 0 is here and it didn't work, where do we need to shade? On the
Oh,
left.
above it.
Above it. We only want to keep where it overlaps, so we erase everything else. So on the quiz, make sure you erase all the other parts. We're only looking at the parts that overlap. Any other questions about your quiz? Any questions about the review? Anything else you want me to go over?
How can you then shade like where the 2 arrows cross, like in that triangle?
Like over here?
Yeah.
Because that was only blue. So that's why I erased it. Because it was only pink over here. Over here it was pink, but it wasn't pink down here. So that's why I had to erase it, because it was only blue. We only care about the parts that are both pink and blue, that overlap.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.